The reason why I suspect that Ramos Salvador, a notorious murderer in Uvalde Elementary School, may in fact be working with Sean Lennon's notorious hybrid warrior game show of the Green Party, is because it operates in exactly the same way. In fact, one of their um, crimes was to Valdez, Exxon Valdez, which is like Uvalde, Valentine's Day. The serial encryption is not the only thing that is identical. Take, for example, the refusal to rationally intervene. Police just set up posts and said there's a lesson in progress. Everybody back off and let the sensei teach his lesson. If you look at the history of how I was banned from Seattle Central Community College, I was banned because I went and explained that there was a gang who I was afraid were going to kill an innocent person, and I was banned from the school. And the gang killed an innocent person. Her name was Shannon Harps. And it was done with a look-alike from within the system. And I pointed out that lookalikes within the system are engaged in a bank takeover from within after committing a mall massacre. I talked to the people in the city, the mayor where it took place. Refusal to rationally investigate. Refusal. My computer is constantly being cyber tampered with by Yoko Ono and her minions. Constantly. They leave signatures in cyberspace. They leave intimidation. They leave encrypted arguments. For what? For their justification for attacking us with the AIDS attack. And people say, no, that's too big. That's too heavy. I won't engage that. Fine. They poisoned me in the mouth and released COVID-19. No, that's too big. That's too heavy. I won't engage that. It's the same system over and over again. It's the same perpetrators over and over again. It's the same non-response from the authorities over and over again. That's how they operate. They operate in broad daylight and cold blood, and they say, that's too bad. We don't care. We get away with it because we are the Beatles. They've been doing this hybrid warrior thing since they put out the first King Crimson album. The Observation by King Crimson about neurosurgeons, and was played for me by an Attica State Prison psychiatrist when I was 9 years old, who were dumping on me with Michael Reagan's favorite stuff, gratifying themselves while I was sleeping as a 9-year-old. This is a sort of horror show that can never be addressed by administration, by police, by mayors, by those dumpling women who are the first Asians in Congress. Oh, aren't they neat? They refuse to address any of it. Every single one of them was standing there outside the lesson plan of Salvador Ramos while Sensei taught his class. He said, "You've all day, Sensei. We'll give you all day, Sensei. Go ahead." And this is Trumpy Toon's sardonic wit. He's saying, "Be my guest, queerball. Go ahead and tell them that you could have saved John Lennon. Tell them. Tell them, okay? While I rape your girlfriends, murder the Kennedys." And I mean, they delivered a letter to Cersei's mother with the murder of 2 more Kennedys. "You've all day, queerball. Go ahead and tell us how you could have saved John Lennon. You've all day. You could have saved. Go ahead, Sensei." This is their sardonic lisp. They did this by Whisper Campaign. One of Trumpy Toon's writers, speech writers, used to come around the University of Pittsburgh with these bally skinheads, and he had all of these weapons advertisements, and he would make these really chilling and cruel-minded Manson-style monologues. And one of his buddies was working with John Schulman, ripping off multi-million-dollar museum books. This was Trump himself, warriors. Disguises himself on the radio. Disguises himself on the radio. It says, I'm Abdul the terrorist. He was an Israeli kid from Squirrel Hill, and he's Abdul the terrorist, scaring everybody. No one is innocent. He kept saying, no one is innocent. And then he ends up a speechwriter for Donald Trump. He was on KDKA radio pretending he was Abdul the terrorist. And this was right before the Lockridge jet went down, which sabotaged the Palestinians' recognition in Sweden of Resolution 242, or Geneva, Switzerland, I guess it was. And nobody cared. That all of this was being gerrymandered and mongered and set up by Patricia Fripp, Colin Powell, Ronald Reagan, and Barack Obama. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Well, look, they didn't care. Who gets the token of sacred Japanese sex was all they were thinking. The black man gets it. The black man gets it. And they were pounding the table. Kantu Repertory Theater had lined the streets with perverts grabbing people by the bottoms, demanding that they get the token, they get the token, they get the token. And that was the only thing I could think of. While we were under biological warfare attack, while we were being ripped off right and left, while a child washed up vomiting from a nerve agent, and they were like, Salvador Ramos has a lesson plan for today. So everybody stand still while Sensei Uvalde teach. Go ahead, Queerball. Tell us about go ahead, Queerball. Tell us how you could have saved John Lennon. We'll give you all day. You've all day. Tell us how you could have saved John Lennon. And you can't. How do I know that I'm in the shoes of those girls? I went to the school. I've been all my whole life. They've surrounded me planning murder, poisoned me in the mouth. It's a snuff film. They snuff filmed C. Kennedy. I went to the school who I was cooperating with. These liars say, "Why didn't you tell the police?" I told the principal. I told the police. These people are stealing. They're planning to kill me, and they said no. And I disappeared for a month. I was biting my fingernails bloody. Maybe sent me to the principal's office because I was so frightened. I said, they're going to kill me. I begged him to walk me home, and then I disappeared for a month, and they didn't even investigate. And what do? They come up with the black man. And the black man says, we read between the lines. It was Pittsburgh provincial norm. So you get back into the back of the bus because queerbait. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. We're going to make sure you eat crow. We're going to put something in your food. It's going to get on your lip, and your gums is going to get all infected just in time for the COVID-19. Nope. Stand still. Don't say anything. The administrators will kick you out of school. What did I do? I said some bystanders going to get murdered. These people were practicing sacrificial homicide. They said, you can't come to school here. And then what happened? They went out and Ripper murdered Shannon Harps with lookalikes. They're still using and deploying from within inside the banking community in Pittsburgh, Squirrel Hill. From within the banking community, they have mall murderers, the organized mall murders in a bank theft from inside the bank itself. And they're using the same technique that they used when they Ripper murdered Shannon Harps. And what do you get from this? What do you get from this? He's Donald Trump's speechwriter who was helping some kid who was ripping off the museum for $1 million worth of books. And they say, nope, he gets off scot-free. He can stay locked in his house. We all have Schulman books. We love Schulman much more than we love Jimmy Carrey, who's starting rumors about him. What rumor did I start about him? His chain gang who say, we work for everything we have, ripping people off, lying about me, scamming. When Thomas O'Connor and the Kelly construction van. The Flint construction van at Kelly Elementary School raced around the school bus, and I was furious. I quit the job in absolute fury. And they said I was the driver. What am I making? I'm starting rumors. Penis Gabriel was behind this too. Okay, with Meg Nolwenn and Oliver Stone. I'm starting rumors. I went to the post office and said it looked to me like he was making a shady claim of losing a real book so he could collect on insurance. They said, stop starting rumors. He got busted. It was printed in the Smithsonian, an $8 million museum heist. Guess who the Smithsonian was covering for? Yoko Ono, because she was working with him too. Trumpy too says you've all dead, queerbait. Go ahead and tell us. Okay, that's what's going. That's why I think it's the same syndicate. It's the same operation. So the Houdini master of illusions. They're ripping us off. They're committing mass murder, and they're telling the authorities, stand still. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to do nothing. It's not political. You don't have to do nothing. Just stand aside. Sensei Ramos has a lesson planned. You've all day.